And we are back to talk about more Star Trek Picard for the last episode of the season, episode 10, Et in Arcadia Ego, part 2.
Yeah.
And, wow, like, I asked you on Facebook, because you finished the episode before I did, I asked you on Facebook, how was it? And you're like...
Yeah, it's just a sigh. I don't know. It was my emotions were up and down in this episode. Like, I was really shocked. Well, I mean, are we gonna go straight into spoilers? Do we have to? We got to do that.
Well, of course. You want me to go off on the summary of the episode?
Yeah. Let's go into the summary of the episode. But I guess the episode just upsets me. Like, there's so many things. Like, I was really giving the series a chance. I was like, okay, these are interesting opportunities that they're opening, and we're gonna see where they go. And then we extended on, and we saw that they went nowhere. And we're like, oh, I see. Okay, well, that's disappointing.
Well, episode 10, Rios and Raffi join with Narek to work against the beacon to summon the synthetic defenders. Jurati breaks Picard out of confinement, and they return to the Lost Arena. Seven finds Narissa still in the cube and kills her to avenge Hugh. Soon deactivates Sutra as punishment for killing another synth. Soji continues to build the beacon and foils Rios, Raffi, and Narek's attempt to destroy it. The Romulan fleet arrive to attack the settlement, but is stopped by Starfleet Armada, commanded by Riker, responding to Picard's call for aid. Picard convinces Soji to destroy the beacon, prompting the Romulans to retreat, and Picard succumbs to his brain condition, but is saved when his consciousness is moved to Soon's synthetic construct, the Golem. During the transfer, Picard encounters Data within a quantum simulation, and later, per Data's request, Picard terminates Data's consciousness permanently.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to unpack here, but I have to ask, what the fuck happened to Narek at the end? Does he kind of just disappear?
I was actually asking. I was going to ask you. Like I forgot what happened to Narek, and I was like, I hope it's in his summary. And then did he get killed like in a fist fight, like trying to?
No, they didn't. I don't think they killed. I have to go back and watch, but I think he just kind of disappears.
All right, I'm gonna.
You're not gonna do this now, are you?
No, I'm checking right now.
Okay.
It says,
actually yesterday I went to the Alpha Memory, the Star Trek Wikipedia, to look up Narek. I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, no, I can't find it either. I mean, this really says something that we don't even know what happens to him.
Well, this is also kind of like a thing that they need to answer. It's just one of the many things. For example, what happens to like Picard's Romulan attendants? We don't know.
Right.
Why was Data's face part of the admission?
No idea.
Who the fuck was Soji and Daj's mom?
No idea.
Are we ever gonna get backstory on Raffi? I think we kind of did, but I feel like a lot of that backstory with Raffi is just kind of like brushed aside. But my biggest question is, who the fuck are the Cthulhu-looking synthetics that set up the admission?
We just saw those like tentacles come through, and that was it.
Yeah, that's all we saw. Which, by the way, was really cool and very ominous. But like, that's all we saw. And since they're essentially kind of like the boogeymen of the season, I kind of wanted more on them. But I guess we're not gonna get that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, he kind of just disappears, and everybody just assumes that he was beamed up by the Romulans before they warped out.
Yo, there's a lot of sloppiness here, man. Like,
no. First of all, okay. Here's my biggest fundamental problem with the episode. Okay.
Is it about Jurati?
No.
Okay.
Well, that's a big thing. But okay, the fundamental problem of the episode is so much time is spent like mourning Picard, and then they just undo that, which, okay, that's very Star Trek, but I hate it. I hate it so much. Like if you're going to kill somebody, freaking follow through and kill them. Don't give me a fake out. Just especially a fake out where they're all like, they spend like a lot of minutes mourning, a lot of really emotional scenes of them mourning Picard. And then it's like, nope, he's alive again. And then after that, there's this big like Data mourning scene, and it's like, I'm sorry, we had a whole movie where he died, and then all of a sudden he's alive again for no reason, just so that we can mourn his death again. Like, that was the biggest fucking waste of time. Like, I've already mourned Data. Like imagine if, you know, somebody in your life, like, you know, died a long time ago, you mourned them, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, hey, did you know that they're still alive? No, actually they're dead. Like, you'd just be like, what?
Jesus.
Right. Like where would that come from? Now, is it supposed to give, I guess it was supposed to give Picard closure about this guilt that he had over Data, but it was odd. They didn't need to have him, you know, kill him again. They could have just had it been like a dream sequence or something where he says, like, you know, I'm fine with it, or, you know, but that whole like letting Data die again and him being in that room and showing Data like becoming an old man and passing away, like, what was the point of that? Like, Data already died. We already mourned him.
Once again, I've only ever seen a few episodes of TNG, and I did watch Mike and Rich Evans do their Picard reviews, and they keep saying how like Picard and Data were never really that close, and the episodes I did see of TNG, they really didn't seem like they were that close. Yet the whole thing about Picard saying he loves him, like, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, they do kind of deal with it later, where they're like, "Oh, did Data love Picard?" And he's like, "No." Like, you know, and I mean, I can grant that Picard is all over the map and nuts, and you know, that's fine. But it is true, in TNG they were not friends.
Right.
Like, Data and Geordi were friends, but TNG ends with him trying to make a friendship with everybody. So they became friends off screen, apparently.
I guess. And I don't know, man. By the way, I saw Best of Both Worlds. I don't know if I told you this yet. I saw Best of Both Worlds. Everybody says it's like the most amazing Star Trek ever. Yeah, it's cool, but it's really a Riker episode.
It is.
Picard was like a Borg for like 10 minutes, though. Like,
yeah. No, there was a lot of speculation when that came out that they were going to let Picard die, and Riker was going to take over, because Riker was getting so much screen time, and everyone was like, "Oh, is everything transitioning? Is Riker going to be the captain permanently?" And then no, Picard came back, but there was a lot of speculation at the time that they were gonna kill off Picard.
Speaking of which. So what So what did the Borg really accomplish? Like, why did they even bring the Borg into this whole thing? I feel like that was kind of pointless. That they only brought it in just because people love the Borg, I guess. They're like a cool villain or a cool attraction to the show. And just to bring also back Seven of Nine, I guess.
I guess, but they didn't need to have the Borg cube. Like, they didn't need to have the fight on the Borg cube, or Seven of Nine join the collective and all of that. I mean...
But they didn't need to include the Borg cube. They could have included like some random planet or ship that didn't have to be Borg.
Right. You know, they could have had Hugh running an XB colony on a planet.
Yeah.
And had the same thing. They didn't need the cube. The cube didn't provide anything.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. What? Why was Soji sent to the cube again, to figure out why synthetics were banned?
She was part of the research project randomly. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a big thing. Like, all the researchers disappear, so it's kind of weird. But there was a research project. She got sent to the research project. And then I guess Narek and his sister went there to find Soji. But were they there first when Soji arrived? I don't know. But you're right that it's very confusing why Soji was on the Borg cube and why the Romulan siblings were on the Borg cube and who was there first.
Yeah, like I just don't understand what the Borg had anything to do with it. I guess that's just, well, they clearly brought, like, it's like if you're ever gonna do a Game of Thrones spinoff, you gotta have dragons in the trailer, because that's what brings the crowd in, right? That's what everybody remembers about Game of Thrones: dragons and White Walkers.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There was no particular there was no need for it to be the Borg.
In hindsight.
In hindsight, you're right. I mean, we had a lot of speculation. Like, everybody's like, "Oh, what's the dark secret? How's the Borg going to be involved?" And then they weren't. They weren't at all.
Pretty much. My other question is, who set up the synthetics attack on the Mars colony thing? Planitia, Britannica. What is it called?
Uh, uh, something Planish.
Yeah, I forgot. The Mars shipbuilding thing.
The Mars shipbuilding thing. No, the Romulan, the Vosh-Dash, the
Zat Vash?
The Zat Vash did it.
Is it outright stated? I don't remember.
I think so. I think it's eventually implied that the Zat Vash did it.
There's way too many implications here. There's a lot of like there's a lot of things they want us to assume, and there's not a lot of concrete that we did this.
The Zat Vash did it to create the synth ban.
Right.
I don't see how it helps them get to Soji and the home world.
So the Zat Vash created the synth ban right around the time when their own people needed the ships the most.
Right. It's really weird. Like, it's a very self-destructive thing. Like, the Federation is actually building ships to help the Romulans, and you're gonna sabotage that in order to get a synth ban, because you hate synths so much. And it's like, whoa, dude, they're trying to save like hundreds of thousands of maybe millions of Romulans with their ships, and you made that impossible because you caused this attack.
But why wouldn't they launch an investigation?
Utopia Planitia. God.
Utopia Planitia. But why wouldn't they launch an investigation instead of just banning all synths? It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I think maybe Commodore O was in charge and just kind of like covered things up.
Okay, so the Federation weren't assholes after all. The Federation were just being used.
No, they were assholes, and Picard specifically says that they were assholes. Mm-hmm. Like he said that the Romulans laid the trap, but the Federation still chose to walk into that trap, and he's right. You know, like.
Well, it wasn't really the Federation's fault. It was Commodore O pulling the strings.
Well, it's sort of like Russian trolls online, like creating division in America. Like we could, as Americans, we could choose to not be hateful and like fall for their bullshit and like be divisive and like, you know, but we're dumb. So right. we let them do it. So yes, it's their fault, but it's also our fault because we're dumbasses. So it's the same thing. Like the Federation, they were tricked, but they were dumbasses, and they relied on hate and fear, and they banned the synths after the attack. So essentially they brought the Romulans brought the worst out of the Federation.
But at the end of the day, in this episode, the Federation came through and with a bunch of ships. And with Riker leading the charge to back up Picard.
By the way, when all of the ships looked exactly the same, did you think that they were like mirror image?
Yeah, I thought so too. So lame. As much as Deep Space Nine has its issues, what I love is that every time there was a war scene with the Federation involved, all the ships look different.
Right. Why they all looked exactly the same, and it wasn't even exactly the same like a Enterprise clone. It was like exactly the same of whatever stylized Riker ship was.
Right. It was copy paste. They copy paste CGI, which is this like okay. I felt bad for Alex Kurtzman when Rich and Mike were destroying and taking him apart, but now I finally get it. Everything seems so polished, but then when you really look. There's a lot of cut corners, and they show.
Oh yeah, like they say. So did you know that during? So when they showed the vision on the planet of the synths killing, life, and everybody's like, oh, but this picture of this planet being destroyed is the same picture as one from Star Trek Discovery. And it's like, oh, so that means maybe they're connected. And it's like, no, actually, they just borrowed the same like image because they were being cheap. Or like there are images of robots in that, and they were actually like those stock images that you can buy on the internet for like next to nothing.
Yeah, like I will say,
Yeah.
Star Trek Picard is very pretty. It looks visually stunning. It's like this is the J.J. Abrams era of Star Trek. This is no longer the Gene Roddenberry TNG era where like how Voyager and Deep Space Nine were. This is a completely new era of Star Trek. I get that. I can accept that. But what it looks visually stunning, but you can see the cut corners, and that really just kind of demolishes a lot of like the feel of it for me.
Oh sure, yeah.
Like there are a lot of things that have gone unanswered. Like Narek disappears. You were saying last episode how the coworkers on the cube, they're gone. Just things aren't really explained.
That's super sloppy.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird.
And this is like, I would say it's sloppy even even compared to like Game of Thrones. Like it's much more sloppy than Game of Thrones.
You think so?
Even with Game of Thrones and like, you know, everybody warping around, like at least they do an establishing shot of, okay, I'm leaving, and then there's an establishing shot of, oh, they're arriving. You know, at least there's that. But Narek disappeared without any establishing shot of that. Like real basics. Like that's real basic of filmmaking. Like, yeah, we could laugh in Game of Thrones about how like, oh, that journey should take days, not a freaking hour. But at least there was an establishing shot of, you know, of Gendry running.
Right.
And then Gendry arriving. Like, yeah, that run was ridiculous. But at least we had a beginning and an end. Like, Narek just vanished. The researchers on the Borg cube just vanished.
No mention of Soji's mom. I guess you could argue that she was like an AI program or whatever, and you know. But what was the need to make Soji's like not realize she was a robot? What was the need for that again?
To hide to hide their planet. But then why send them out?
To find out why the synth ban was going on. But wouldn't it serve
why?
Well, hold on. Wouldn't it serve if Soji and Daj both knew that they were synthetics? That way they could use that to their advantage?
Sure. I don't understand why giving them amnesia gives them an advantage.
Right. Unless they're captured, but at the same time...
Also, how would they know that going to the Borg cube would lead them to Narek and his sister?
I don't think they did know that. I think they just stumbled on that.
Then why send them to the Borg cube? And why send Daj to Earth? Daj was just, you know, living a good life on Earth with her boyfriend and going to college. Like, she was not researching like why the synth ban happened.
She was gonna go to the institute. I forgot the institute's name. She was gonna go to the institute, the Wayland Yutani Institute. What is it called? It's the Daystrom Institute.
Right, the one with the Daystrom Institute.
Wayland is from Aliens franchise. I'm sorry, people, but
yeah. Okay, so.
We're just trying to piece it together. It's so lazy.
It is. You're right. Like this is like now that it's done, where I'm like, huh, like halfway through, I'm like, oh, this is okay. Just hoping that it all comes together, and then it doesn't come together at all. Like in no way.
If you watch the trailer for Picard again back before it premiered, they only introduced the Borg cube, so it would appear in the trailer and make everybody go, oh, I need to watch that.
Yeah.
And to reintroduce Seven of Nine, to have her on the crew, which at the very end of the episode, I guess she joins the crew. But why does Admiral Picard need to have a crew? In TNG, they were explorers, right?
Right, because now their mission is done. So where are they going? They don't have a mission to seek out new life and new civilization. Like the episode's done and they're like, okay, engage. Like, I guess we're going back to Earth.
But, like, together? Everybody's going back to Earth together? Like, okay, fine, but, like, huh?
But there's definitely this implication, like, oh, he's got a new crew now. But they don't have anything to do. There's no mission. In fact, like, now that the cause is done, shouldn't the samurai guy go back to his home?
Yeah, mm-hmm.
And shouldn't Seven of Nine go back to being a ranger?
No. She has a lesbian relationship now with Rafi for some reason because I don't even remember them ever having screen time together.
Were they being romantic?
Well, they were kind of like holding hands. And this is Alex Kurtzman, so I guess that means they're lesbians now.
I do remember them. Yeah, that was really weird.
Despite them never having a scene together, which, whatever. Let's throw it in there. Why the fuck not? Fuck it.
God, this I'm just like flabbergasted by like just how ridiculous. Oh,
You know what
God.
never set well with me? Because at that ending shot, Girardi and Rios are all of a sudden romantic. We've never really
Yeah.
saw their romance grow. In fact, she has sex with him right after she kills her boyfriend, Mac. What's the guy's name? Mad Max? No, Bruce Maddox. Fuck,
Does she have
I'm out
sex
of.
with him after? I thought she had sex with him before. Is it really? Is it right after?
I think it's right after when she's feeling very sad, and then they do it, and then I guess they form some kind of bond because of that, which is kind of lame. I would rather have seen them get along a bit more, but
Yeah, this is one of these things I mean that I don't understand in movies. So sometimes movies will have grief sex, which I don't get. You know, like Wedding Crashers even has this at the end as a joke. You know, like grief sex, and you know, having people die in my life, the last thing I want to do is have sex like during that period. So I don't. Maybe other people are different, but after killing one's boyfriend, would not want to be having sex with some new guy. But that's another thing is they just fucking let Girardi off the goddamn
I
hook
knew
for
you
that.
were gonna bitch about that. I was
course.
watching the episode. I'm like, oh, it's gonna piss him off. I knew it pissed him off. Ooh.
Wasn't she going to turn herself into the authorities?
Well, but she saved the planet, so I guess that's okay.
But she murdered a dude.
But
Like,
then she saved
straight
Picard,
up-
so it's okay.
But she straight up murdered a dude. That doesn't make up for it. I mean, even in a numerical sense, like Bruce Maddox had another like 50, 60 years on his life, and Picard has like 10. Well, I mean, it's the future, so they're all living to like 150. So Picard has like 60 years left, and Bruce Maddox had 100 years left. But still, like, she's not getting like the number of years back, right? Saving Picard doesn't make up for killing Bruce Maddox.
But saving the universe should, right? Because she helped save the universe.
I guess she helped save the universe, but she's still a fucking murderer.
We're all murderers somehow, Preston. It's okay, I guess.
Have you been walking outside with your COVID-19? But
I know you're gonna hate that. I'm like, oh, ooh, he's gonna hate that. Ooh, he's gonna fucking bitch.
of course. Oh,
Because you're
God.
still getting on
So-
Tyrion's case for killing Tywin and then Shay.
Oh yeah, and then all of a sudden he's like the hero. Like he strangled a woman to death. And it's like, oh, he's such a good man.
And then
Such a-
and that one part in the books
because
where
shortly after strangling his girlfriend, he didn't have sex with a sex worker who wanted to have sex with him
oh yeah, that's right. He in the books he rapes that
and vomits on her.
vomits on
Right?
her.
But he's a good man because he didn't have sex with a sex worker who actually wanted to have consensual sex with him.
Honestly, man, all I really want to know is what the hell those synthetics were, and if the threat is really like, because
Well, those arms are ridiculous.
Cool.
Yeah,
They were- I'm sorry.
The stock footage white synthetic guys, I guess.
the Cthulhu robot arms, that was friggin' awesome. But I find it a little weird that nobody batted an eye that this portal opened up and they could see these arms protruding from it, and and it goes away and everybody's like, well, whatever. Let's leave. Bye. And that's it. Nobody wants to make a report on that. Nobody saw that, really? Thousands of ships.
Right. I mean, could have said to Riker, "Did you not see the portal with arms? I'm trying to stop that." Like,
So apparently the Zavash were the good guys, kinda, after all, kinda.
yeah, I mean, they have a point. You know, they're trying to save the universe. I mean, I suppose I'm being a hypocrite because Girardi's murder of Bruce Maddox was for that reason. So it's okay with her, but with Commodore O, I mean, I guess they'd let Commodore O live, but
How do you feel about Picard not being a person anymore, but he's not a golem? He's kind of synthetic now.
who Who cares? It doesn't matter. It was such a fucking cop-out.
You think so? Do you think they should have let old man Picard go?
I mean, it would have been the same. Like, just keep it open that yeah, it's on the horizon eventually, but it doesn't have to be now. You know, it's the same with all of us, right? We're all dying. Mm-hmm. But they didn't need to cure him of that. It was not a problem. Like, immediate. They could have just had him like, okay, well, you know, he's still got this thing, and one day it's going to kill him, but he's still got a few last adventures in.
Yeah,
you know?
that I guess, but then who's going to use the golem?
Why did they need to introduce the golem? Like, they didn't need a golem. It was so fucking random. Like, okay, we're on this planet of synths, and we're talking about synths, and then, oh, by the way, I have a golem body. Why? How does this relate to the synths? Bloop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. Well, it's a good thing you had that random object that had no function to the plot so that we could save Picard in the end. Oh, God.
What's the guy's name? Alden Soong?
Alden Soong, yeah.
Why didn't he because he sees what actually happens with Narek and Sutra when Sutra takes the little thing and stabs that girl in the eye. Why didn't he just take the video and show the other synths what Sutra did and stop Soji from summoning those horrific synthetic things?
I don't know. I guess maybe these other synthetics aren't that smart. They just kind of stood around, you know, while Sutra did her thing. Sutra became the big bad.
But what? And then he just shuts her off?
Wait, what happened to Sutra? Did Sutra die at the end?
He shuts her off.
How?
By like pressing a button. And it shuts her off.
Oh.
Yeah. He says, in the end, you're just like us. And he just shuts her off. And that's it. She's gone for the entire episode. She's done. It's over.
Now, don't they have the knowledge to build another tower at any time?
I guess, yeah.
So, if they turn Sutra back on, will she want to build a tower?
I'm pretty sure she would want to, yeah.
That's really risky, you know. Like this little colony has a doomsday device.
Yeah, but it's under the Federation protection, so it's okay now, I guess, right?
I guess it's.
Seriously, what the fuck is next for Star Trek Picard? Because apparently they got picked up for seasons 2 and 3. Let me check real quick.
And 3?
That's what I heard. That's what I swear I heard that. But I don't understand like what they're even gonna do. Although it's criticized before the launch, CBS All Access renewed Star Trek for a second 10-episode season. Guinan is supposed to appear in season 2. So that has been confirmed. When Patrick Stewart visited The View with Whoopi Goldberg, Guinan is confirmed. He asked her to join them for season 2. But where can you go from this? Like, I think there are other stories to tell, but at the same time, he's retired. So I don't understand, like, right. What can you do? Like, can you something with Q? Because season 2 covered a lot of things that were
Q. I mean, like I say, man, Tom Riker, lore. There's a lot of options.
Well, but season 1 covered a lot of like the basis of what everybody likes about TNG, kind of, right? The Borg, Data.
Yeah.
What else? One more thing. The Romulans.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But what can you go with season 2?
First, you can go Klingons. You can go Klingons. You can go Q. Like, big favorites would be those.
There's actually something you mentioned briefly in a previous podcast episode about why Q fears Guinan or hates Guinan.
Yeah. No one knows.
Maybe we could do something revolving around Guinan. Guinan could take the place of, like, Soji and Daj as, like, the central mystery.
And find out why the Qs, or why Q specifically, like, doesn't like her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a million dangling plot threads that they never answered in the original series.
Well, at least they didn't do, like, the one thing that every Star Trek series loves to do, which is time travel and mirror universe stuff. They actually removed that, which I'm kind of surprised, because Star Trek loves its mirror universe episodes.
Yes, they loved it. It does seem that, like, Section 31, mirror universe, time travel, and Borg seemed to be the freaking cheap go-to for Star Trek.
And
Because I'm thinking back to like when Enterprise was trying to like keep it going, and that's what it did. There was a Borg episode, there was a Mirror Universe, 3 Mirror Universe episodes. So there was I think there's a Section 31 episode too of Enterprise. So yeah, they just go right to it.
And at the end of the day, Star Trek Picard kind of became like Game of Thrones in a sense, where fan theories were better than what we got. The fan theories that this was somehow control was somehow involved from Star Trek Discovery, the Rogue AI was somehow involved in this, and I guess not. But I'm more intrigued.
Yeah, it turns out all the fan theories were wrong,
right,
because all the fan theories were actually interesting and tried to tie up loose ends. And instead, they decided to not tie up loose ends at all.
And try to be Mass Effect.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but it wasn't. But at least in Mass Effect, the aliens arrive, right?
Dude, I hate that you fucking looked it up, man. It's such a good game. I really wanted you to play it. You could have done a Let's Play on your channel. It's such a good game. Such a good trilogy. It really... Mass Effect 2 is one of the best games of all time. If anybody wants to fight me in the comment section about that, bring it the fuck on. Mass Effect 2 is an amazing game. One of the best. You fucker. But Preston, overall, Picard...
That last episode... I mean, I can now say that it was not a great series. I would say, I mean, I'm not going to say it's like horrible, but like it had some high points, it was entertaining, but it's nothing I'd recommend to people, I'd really like to find out what Phil the Issues guy thinks, because he loves Star Trek as well, and has more sentimental feelings about it. Like for me, it's like I loved Star Trek. Like there was a time where I would watch every single episode, both Voyager and DS9 were on, and I would make sure to watch both of them, schedule the time to sit down and do it. And my friends would be like, dude, we got to go out. And I'd be like, no, I got to freaking watch Voyager. I got to watch DS9, and I was really committed. And then just over time, yeah, they beat it out of me. They beat out the Trekker in me over time.
I mean, I would have liked the show more had some of the cut corners weren't cut. It's a very pretty show. Yeah. Sometimes it's a little too visually in your face. When the Romulan ships were firing on the Orchids, sometimes everything kind of blended and meshed together a bit much. But at the end of the day, it was kind of cool. That.
Yeah, and I want to say it was well acted. Even those emotional scenes where Picard's dead and everybody has to have mourning scenes, those actors fucking work their ass off to make those scenes emotional, and then they're just undone the next scene. I almost feel bad. It's why'd they fucking they did all this work? I guess they got a paycheck, but
And of course we're gonna have a Picard season 2, because I really hated when they announced that Picard was renewed, because then you could be like, oh, they killed him off. And then after episode 10 was done and we found out he came back, then it'd be like, it's Picard season 2 announced. But because they announced season 2, we knew he wasn't going to die. Way before the show began, we knew he wasn't going to die at the end of the season.
It's true. But then why even set it up? Why even make him die?
That's also true. It wasn't a bad show. It had its moments, but overall, Alex Kurtzman really needs to fuck off with Star Trek. I hate piling on the guy, because I feel like Mike and Rich do that for the rest of us, but damn, dude, you are not great at being in charge of this stuff. You're just not that great at it. Mm-hmm. I don't mind it. Once again, I don't mind it being the J.J. Abrams era of Star Trek, because that's what it is. It can never go back to how Deep Space Nine and TNG was. By the way, have you ever noticed how in the old school Trek, you can always hear somewhat of the rumbling of the space station or the starship?
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's none of that in this. There's none of that in this.
You know what I just realized? Had they removed the fleets, had it just been Oath's ship that arrived, and then it just been Riker's ship that arrived, it would have been just the same. It would have been and we wouldn't have needed all those copy and pastes.
Or even better, to show the Federation's power, Riker's ship and maybe like 3 others are enough for like 200 Romulan ships. That could have been badass in and of itself. Or maybe Riker makes a last stand there. He just picks up the old TNG crew. I don't know.
Right, or just not crash the Borg cube. You know, there's so many options of what you could have done, but it's like I just thought that cheap massive fleet of Romulans and then the cheap massive fleet of Federation ships was just so dumb.
Yeah.
I fucking hate copy. I hate copy and paste like entertainment. Fucking let's battle an army of Ultrons and then an army of Chitaris and then they're all the fucking same.
I know, Preston. I know. But overall, the finale, it was fine. It was whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, my problem with this stuff is that, like, a lot of stuff is really just glossed over. It could have gone on for a couple more minutes. I mean, it's on CBS All Access. I don't know if it's on...
I mean, they had the time. They spent all this morning time. You know, there was plenty of time. There's plenty of run time where they could have said, hey, what happened to Narek? Oh, he beamed away. Okay.
The stuff with Picard and Data at the very end, I wasn't like, I don't have a connection to either of these characters. So for me, it was whatever. Was that one of your favorite parts?
No. Like I say, like, you know, it just, I mean, Abraham Lincoln's still alive. No, he's dead. Oh, man. I guess I should mourn Abraham Lincoln again.
And, oh, by the way, there has to be some kind of repercussions or some kind of, like, fallout. Oh, a goddamn Romulan infiltrated Starfleet and did a lot of damage. There has to be some type of, like, fallout from this. There has to be.
I mean, there's that one woman who cusses all the time, who keeps telling Picard that...
To shut the fuck up?
He's to shut the fuck up. I guess she'll have to go in and be like, what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened? We had a Commodore in here that was a Romulan? What the fuck?
So stupid. So stupid. But overall, Preston, what would you give this episode? I would give it like a 7. It was fine. 6, 7.
Oh, I give it a 5.
Really?
I give it a 4 or 5.
I'm a little.
And the problem is it's just that the whole, it doesn't wrap anything up.
It doesn't.
It wasn't a good ending.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I agree with that. I'll give it a 6. It wasn't that great. Like, it was visually cool. I like the tentacles. That was awesome. I'm into that. Not tentacles in that way, you fucking perverts in the comment section, but no, like the synthetics.
Certain things. I was like, in the middle of the episode, I was like, I like where this is going. When Narek goes back to the ship and has to like team up with them, and I'm like, oh man, strange bedfellows. This is interesting. And then it doesn't,
it just deflates.
Just a big letdown.
Yeah.
Just a big deflating letdown.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. I agree with you. Preston, are we done? Can we wrap this up?
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us on the Picard-Cast. Join us next time. We might get Phil. If I can get Phil, Phil's busy because he does theater stuff now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get Phil either for a live stream on your channel, Preston, or maybe we'll just do one big podcast with him involved.
Okay, sounds great.
But guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.